Well, I think athletically, Tom, he's fairly athletic. He performs well in all three sports that he plays. He's the kind of kid that, whether it's basketball or baseball, if it's baseball, you want him at the plate or you want him on the mound, and he wants the ball in his hand in a basketball game at the end of the game. I think he's got, he's a young kid. He's not overly big. He's kind of been in his older brother's shadow a little bit. His brother's a senior, but we feel like he has the respect of his teammates. He's put in a lot of time in the off season, going to the OPS camps and going to wing T camp and being there in the weight room and doing things that we want our quarterbacks to do. And we feel like he's earned the right to be our starter, and our team's behind him, and we're looking forward to seeing how he does.
What did you think he learned out of Drew, who was such a strong quarterback for you guys?
Well, one thing about Tom is he's very competitive. He went in for a little bit in the end of the game last year when Drew got hurt early in the season, and Tom was upset. He was mad that he didn't score to win the game. He was upset that Drew was hurt, upset that he let his team down. That's just the type of kid he is. As a freshman, most people are glad the game's over, and they're glad they get to go home and sit in the air conditioning. And he was mad that he, in his mind, let his team down. And of course, we didn't see it that way. We were just happy that it mattered that much to him. And it's kind of he's matured since then, and it's still important to him. And he's displaying a lot of those leadership qualities that we want to see in our quarterbacks.
Not only do you guys lose Drew at the quarterback position, you lose your leading rusher, Landon Harris. Garrett Horn expected to be the guy that kind of fills his shoes, a little bit different style. What are the differences between them, and what can fans expect to see out of Garrett come Friday nights?
Well, I think the biggest and the obvious difference to people is going to be the body type. Garrett's significantly larger. Which is okay with us. He moves pretty well for a big guy, and he's by no means fat. He's just thicker. He works very hard in the weight room. He's a good squatter, good power cleaner. He's probably not as fast as Landon Harris was, but we also feel like as long as he's keeping his feet moving and running the ball hard and lowering his shoulder, that he puts us in a position to move the football, and we want to be able to give him the ball several times a game. And he started last year at inside linebacker as a sophomore, and that's a pretty tall task for a kid, and he did it as good as anybody. So we feel like, mentally we feel like he can play on Fridays. Physically, he's a big, strong kid, and he's doing pretty good. Has had a pretty good preseason so far. So we'll see how he develops as the next couple weeks come along.
And 6 starters back on defense, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. 6 starters back. Got Nash Wood back. Nash is an outside linebacker for us, and we think that our outside linebackers, in terms of our program, we ask a lot out of those guys, and we expect a lot out of him. And he started for 3 years now, and he's had some injuries along the way, but he's a strong kid, smart kid. Carson Gatton is another one that we've moved around. Since he was a freshman, we've moved him to different positions. D-line, inside linebacker. We know if we needed him to go in at outside linebacker, he could do that. Very football intelligent kid. I think if we asked him to play corner, which we won't ever do, I think he would go do that. I mean, he's just, so we've got some kids, our secondary, Sam Richards, Nick Murphy, Trey Mayer, those guys are all back again, and we feel like we're not saying that we're going to be good on defense, but we feel like experience-wise, we've got more experience than what we've maybe had in the past.
And then 6-5 last year, despite kind of the injury bug that overtook Cherubusco. A lot of the players saying that they weren't really satisfied with that. What are the goals and expectations this year?
Well, I mean, we've got a pretty difficult early season schedule, which is the way we want it. We're on the road 3 of the first 4 weeks, and we're at Lakeland, then we're at Lewis Cass. We host Garrett, and then we're at Eastside. For us, we want to win every game. Obviously, we want to compete in every game. We want to see how we match up against Eastside in our division. Eastside's been the team to beat the last couple of years, and they've got a lot of their kids back. They're extremely athletic, extremely fast. So, for us, we're not happy with 6 wins a year, and we want to see where we match up against the best team in our division and in our league. And like I said, right now that's Eastside, and it has been for a little while now. So we feel like if we want to have a chance to compete for a conference tournament or conference championship or anything like that, we've got to be able to compete against Eastside, and we haven't done that the last couple of years. So that's kind of what we're hoping to get to that game and maybe have a little bit of confidence and have some things figured out and see if we can compete with them.